pre-show. Happy Tuesday.
Nope, Tuesday. I knew you were going to do that
Darn
too.
it.
So we didn't have a show yesterday because we had company business.
Yeah.
And I forgot to tell you guys on Friday because I had forgotten that our company business was on Monday. So that's my bad. I'll own that. That's on me. I'm going to tap my chest here. That's fine. One thing about this new studio is that because of there's more setup that goes into the show in here than it did in the previous studio.
This is true.
There's just more to do, microphones and headsets and things like that. So, like, I still haven't figured out what the minimum amount of time is yet. I did roll in today so the pre-roll starts at 11:52. Pre-show, like first words on camera is like 11:55. I rolled in today like 11:47. So 5 minutes before 8 minutes before I have to start talking. I felt a little panicked.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's that's something for me too, of like setting up everything. Like there's a lot more lighting, there's a lot more, like you got to turn the desk on, you got to get the TV set up. There, like for me, it's not just like walk in and set up the computer side of it.
Right.
It's setting up everything. So yeah, I need like it's right around like an 11. I need to be in here by 11, like getting things going.
So what's interesting, because I know when you've worked in the studio at Bally, and certainly they're professionals and we are us, they will want you on set like 30 minutes before we go on the air, like minimum 30 minutes, because they're like, we want to get you wired in, we want to test mics, we want to make sure the lighting's good, we want to do everything like that. Don't expect that from us though.
No.
That would be a level of professionalism that we do not aspire to and we are not capable of.
We do that on Texas football tonight.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the show starts at 7:30.
So what time are Nick and Ish on the desk?
By 7 at the latest.
7 at the absolute latest.
Yeah, so usually like we get there. If you want to look into like how TV works, we, as in me, Mallory, VNA, like the producers, and then our director and assistant director, we're there at latest at like 12:30.
Yeah.
Knowing that we're going live at 7:30, and then the students would get there at 5. So the students are there 2.5 hours early because we have a lot of pre-prep to do. Then we would eat dinner, and then but I realistically, they were usually on the desk by like 6:30. Once we got a little bit more comfortable, it was more like 6:45, 7 o'clock. But there is so many aspects that go into that show. There's no way.
Yeah.
That's not the way that this show works. It's getting closer to that.
There would be, and then there would also be like, there are times, and we're just having TV talk, hello. There are times on Bally where like they'll like run us through like graphics, be like, here's this and stuff like that. I'll tell you where it's even worse, not even worse, but like even more like you better be ready way ahead of time is when I do color for a state championship game, because, and this is for people who've done TV, this is going to sound like, of course, dude. Try not to curse, that they'll be like, all right, we're going to need you on the set like an hour before. You don't have to stay wired in, but like we're going to go through about 30 minutes of like, we're going to run you through every graphic we have.
Yes.
Because for those who don't know, when you're doing a game, they have like 500 graphics lined up. They may only use 40 of them, but like they'll have them up, even if it's just like overtime rules.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like, we got to have that. And we got to have like all the things that you might need, they have to have pre-programmed and they'll just run through it just so you know what they look like. I'm like, just pull the string, man.
Yeah.
Like,
we would have a,
let me and Ted Emmer cook.
Yeah, at Texas Football Tonight, we would have like a pre-production meeting as soon as everybody showed up at 5 of like, here's every single asset that we have. And then we would go back through it once we actually got them all loaded in and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, no, that's not how this show needs to work.
All that's to say, don't expect that from us here. That would be probably asking too much.
Yeah, I would have to give up a lot of the other portions of what I do throughout the day if I had to set up even 2.5 hours early for this show. It's not possible.
I would agree. I also just, I was comfortable at my desk.
Well, now you're comfortable at that desk.
I really am. Hit the theme, Expo. Yes, y'all! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show that just, keeps on going. Many people have tried to stop this thing.
Including Mark Zuckerberg.
Many times. Is Zuck?
No, not today.
You we're just catching strays.
Sometimes we need to, he's gotten me too many times. Sometimes I gotta stop
humble
and
a little bit.
Say, hey, I'm still watching you.
My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, or listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support the little internet show that could. I am sitting over there in her palace, back there. All the gizmos and gadgets making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dorks, Miss 305, Ashley Pickle.
It feels like it should be Mallory and I's nickname, Gizmo and Gadget.
Gizmo and Gadget. That's good. Who would be, you get first pick. You're older.
I want to be Gizmo.
You want to be Gizmo, she can be Gadget?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. She's Gizmo. Today is Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. 423. It's how many days till Thanksgiving? I didn't even look that up. I was too busy getting ready for my 423 joke. 219 days until Thanksgiving. Happy 460th birthday to William Shakespeare. Happy birthday, Willie. Wow. We appreciate you. We hope you're having a great day. Here, is that true?
Yep. I've been to the Shakespeare Theater.
Boy, I am getting word that William Shakespeare has been dead for over 400 years.
He only lived to be 36? Or 63?
Let's see. What a great question. He died in 1616. He lived to be 52.
Wow, that's...
Well, he was also in the
1500s.
Long.
Yeah, life expectancy was a lot shorter.
Yeah.
So maybe he was
like
you could
just die because you saw a rat.
Yeah.
It's episode 1761, I think.
Yes.
Whoa!
Wow.
Nailed it. Swish. On today's show, folks, we are going to have America's favorite segment,
Math Tuesday.
We're going to take a look at the Texas high school football's hottest recruiting hotbeds. Which Texas high school football programs produced the most talent for the FBS ranks in 2024? We'll get into that. In the back half of the show, Matt Stepp is in his bag.
I am in my bag.
He's in his bag. He was out of the state 7-on-7 qualifier this weekend.
And he talked to another Matt.
It's too many Matts.
Far too many.
Too many Matts. It's Matt Nally, head coach of the Melissa Cardinals. Talk to Matt Stepp. We will hear from both of them. Mostly Matt Nally, but Matt Stepp will be there as well, coming up here at the back half.
Yeah, to be fair, if one Matt had to go, it would not be Matt Nally.
That's true. Yeah, I think that's fair. And we love Matt Stepp, but it's not a choice. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Blindside Bass Homan, Ed McElroy,
that's an OG.
Joey Hill, and Daniel Agnew. Welcome in, fellas. Well, there's quite a few OGs in there.
Yeah, this is an OG type show. Welcome in, friends. We appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us on this, a Tuesday, April 23rd. And on Tuesday, April 23rd, we make sure that we celebrate and observe Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday. Math Tuesday.
It's Math Tuesday here on Texas Football Today.
The best Tuesdays.
It's just
the only way to do a Tuesday, honestly.
And I want to be very frank about this. I made that intro, and it's my crowning achievement. And I have two sons.
Yes.
Like, that's my crowning
Yeah,
achievement.
sorry, Hank and Max.
That's my legacy.
I did say that even though we rebranded like the whole show and like we look cool now, I was like, if anyone ever tells me that we can't use the Math Tuesday intro, I will hand in my resignation later. And that's not a threat. That is a promise.
That's a promise. Absolutely. It's Math Tuesday, where we dive inside the numbers of Texas high school football, or just football across the state of Texas. Today we're going to talk a little bit about recruiting. And talk about recruiting. Of course, tomorrow we'll talk recruiting. Greg Powers, our director of recruiting, will be here to talk this week.
This will be the first This Week in Curtin since the new studio, won't it?
Yeah.
Powers hasn't been on the desk with you.
That's right, because our first one, we had Malik Hawkins come in and commit to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
No, it will be. So tune in for that. That's what we call lateral tease. What I'm going to vertically tease here is this segment, which is about
Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday, recruiting hotbeds. Across the state of Texas, I'm crunching numbers, working on a piece for the 2024 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And I want to alert you to some good news. Some good news if you are, in fact, the kind of person who looks for good news.
Good news.
And that is that the state of recruiting in Texas is strong.
Let's go.
Once again, Texas led the way with the most prospects across the state of Texas.
Texas high school football is king.
We did it, guys. We
just keep doing it.
We just keep doing it. And when you take a look across the state of Texas, what I think is interesting is that it's not just the blue bloods that are putting out prospects. When you take a look across the state of Texas overall, there were a grand total of, I have this number here somewhere. Oh yeah, here it is. Actually, this is a good question for you, Pickle. And you don't know the answer to this because we don't pre-produce this show.
No.
How many Texas high school football programs signed a player to an FBS letter of intent in the class of 2024?
Oh, wow. Okay, so there's 1,500 schools.
1,500 schools.
Signed
at least one.
Around like 400 or
205.
205. Okay.
205 different schools signed one player to an FBS letter of intent. 205 different schools. Now, that is the second most ever. Last year there were 208 schools.
I guess you have to also put into consideration, and this is where I was thinking more about like number of recruits rather than schools,
so
because there are definitely schools that signed multiple ones.
Right.
So that's probably why I was a little bit on the high side,
So
as I was thinking more number of recruits.
It's 332 prospects across 205 schools.
Okay, that's a little bit more on par with what I was thinking.
1.5.
Yeah,
per
350 to 400 was my guess of recruit numbers.
1.5 per school. And what is fascinating about that is that you take a look across the landscape, and it is big schools, small schools. Everyone is contributing here to the strength of prospects across the state of Texas. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a look at the schools and which Texas high school football teams put out the most number of prospects, FBS signees in 2024. Now, one caveat before we get going, and maybe people don't know this, we do not include the 3 service academies in this: Army, Navy, and Air Force. Now, that is not because we don't love the troops. I think you know, watching this show,
we do love the troops.
We love the troops. We love the air troops.
The aqua troops.
We love the aqua troops.
And the land troops.
We love the land troops. But
there's technically some coastline troops in there too, but they don't have a school.
They do have a school.
There's not football.
They might play like D3 football, Coast Guard.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. We need to look that up. Anyway, all that to say,
extra aqua troops.
If you are
additional aqua.
If you are Happy Veterans Day. It's not Veterans Day. If you play football at Army, you do not sign a letter of intent.
Correct.
That is a different situation. You do not sign a national letter of intent. So we are not intentionally excluding them. We are only focusing on players that sign a national letter of intent.
Correct.
And so first things first, we're just going to look at which teams produced the most prospects. Which teams in the class 2024 produced the most. And in my view, the headline here is that you've got a lot of DFW blue bloods. Largely, rounding up, you're going to have a lot of DFW blue bloods. 2 teams signed 6 prospects. DeSoto, the 2-time defending 6A Division II state champs, signed 6. as well as McKinney.
Yep.
McKinney also signed 6 to FBS letters of intent. There were another 4 programs that signed 5 players to letters of intent, and I would say that all of these would fall under the category of blue blood as well. South Oak Cliff, coming off of last year's state record 11, signed 5 more. Aledo, Duncanville, and then our first non-DFW, Manville, signed 5 players to letters of intent. Then you have a glut of teams there at 4 teams, a large number of teams that signed them. Those teams were, he said to himself as he pulled up the graphic. Those teams were, will you please pull up? Thank you. Oh my gosh, it's not coming. Pleasant Grove signed 4 of them, as well as Byron Nelson, Galena Park North Shore, again, blue blood, Katie Tompkins, Lancaster, Mansfield Summit, Melissa, who's Coach Matt Nally, we're going to hear from in just a moment, North Crowley, South Lake Carroll, and Pleasant Grove. There were a grand total of 9 teams that signed 4 players to FBS letters of intent. And so if you want to stop right there and you would say, well, what are the hotbeds of Texas high school football recruiting? You could just say, oh, it's major metro areas, right?
Yes.
There are no programs basically outside of Pleasant Grove. Pleasant Grove is the outlier here as far as not being in a major metro area. Right. Everyone else is either DFW or Houston, basically, except for Pleasant Grove out there in Texarkana. Obviously, an incredible job that Josh Gibson and company have done.
A little bit shocking to me that there wasn't an Austin program like a Westlake or like Travis, even a Vandergrift. Now they're kind of turning into a football farm.
And it's interesting to see because to make this list, you have to have all of your great players, not all of your great players, but many of your great players in one class.
Yep.
That's one thing that's interesting is that there are a number of programs out there that this will shift. There will be another program that we're not thinking of that is going to jump up into this next year. But I don't want to stop there because, look, you look at a program like Galena Park North Shore putting out 4 signees. That's really impressive, obviously.
But they also have a lot of players on the roster.
They have a ton of kids in the school.
Yeah.
They have 4,500 kids in the school.
Right.
All right? So what I wanted to do was I wanted to take a look at which programs put out the most prospects and the most signees per capita.
Correct.
Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the number of signees that they had in the class 2024 and compare it to their enrollment. Now, one small caveat here. Again, it's caveat season. When it comes to private schools, we do not have the enrollment for every private school. They're not required to give it to us. We have a lot of them, but we don't have all of them. So there is a chance, an off chance that there's one I think every private school that signed one, we have the enrollment, but just FYI. But let's take a look at which programs signed the most prospects per capita as far as their student enrollment is concerned. And maybe this will be surprising to you. The answer is Houston St. Thomas.
Wow.
Houston St. Thomas, the Eagles signed 2 players to national letters of intent. One of them was our private school cover boy, Johan Cardenas, who signed with Vanderbilt. And then Michael Anthony Okwura, who was featured on This Week in Recruiting.
Yep.
He signed with Cal. And so
that's a big get.
With those 2 signees against an enrollment of 177, that means 1 out of every 88.5 students signed a national letter of intent at St. Thomas. Kind of remarkable.
Yeah.
Then you look at Pleasant Grove, and we talked about them in the previous segment. Pleasant Grove signed 4 players to letters of intent. They have an enrollment of just 763. So 1 out of every 190 or so students signed a national letter of intent. Then you're going to get into kind of what makes up a lot of this, which is small schools that had 1 player.
Yep.
Okay? Beckville.
Math gets pretty easy here.
Jacoby Williams signs with Texas Tech. They got 193 students in their class, so he goes and obviously he helps their average. 1 out of every 193.
And he was worth the price of admission.
Same with Dallas Christian, 196 players or 196 students, 1 signee. Hitchcock, your beloved Bulldogs, signed 2 players to national letters of intent against an enrollment of 429, about 215. Refugio, of course, signed their outstanding running back.
Ernest Campbell.
Yes, Ernest Campbell went to Texas A&M. So he, with an enrollment of 215.5. Timpson, just a little bit bigger, 219. Terry Bussey, also signed with Texas A&M. And then Hawley. Hawley had one player signed to the National Letter of Intent with an enrollment of 223. So if you look pound for pound, you can make an argument that these programs were the recruiting hotbeds. What I think is the real headline here is that, and we've said this a lot, everywhere you look across the state of Texas, whether you're talking regionally, whether you're talking class-wise, there are players everywhere. And I think what this particular data set proves is that there are fewer and fewer hidden gems.
Right.
I've been of the belief for the past like 10 years or so that like the advent of the internet has killed the sleeper.
Yeah.
There's just not really those guys anymore. No. It used to be that, oh, if you could go to this small town tucked away, hey, by the way, Timpson, this tiny town, Timpson's got this superstar quarterback that's actually going to be actually incredible.
Right.
I just don't think that happens anymore. Instead, those guys get noticed and they become 5-stars.
Right, which is funny because there's such an argument to be made as to, one, I could see how that's not as fun for people who really like getting in the weeds.
Yeah.
I'm going to go visit this small town, like recruiting guys on college campuses that are like, oh no, hang on, I've got the inside scoop. Makes it not as fun for them. That being said, it makes it so much better for the players. You can go to any school. If you are a FBS athlete, they will find you.
You'll get noticed.
I think it's better for the sport that
You'll
way.
get noticed. We'll talk about it tomorrow, but like, I think a perfect example of that is Grayson Rigdon at Benjamin. Grayson Rigdon plays 6-man football.
Right.
Now, he might be the greatest 6-man football player of all time, but he plays 6-man football at a tiny town. He just announced his commitment to Air Force.
Yep.
If you can play, you will get noticed, regardless of where you play.
And that's better for the sport.
I think that makes for a healthier sport overall. So, there you go. There's Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com/subscribe. My mom just renewed her subscription to Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And what are you, better than my mom?
Absolutely not.
Go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe. You get the 2024 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football mailed to you before it hits newsstands. You get that. You get a year of exclusive access to TexasFootball.com, including access to our archives, a year of Tep and Step, our premium high school football podcast. New episode recording tonight. And you also get a year of Dave Campbell's Texan Live, our streaming platform, where you get thousands of Texas high school events, including hundreds and hundreds of Texas high school football games, including hundreds of Texas high school football playoff games, live on your device, all part of your subscription to Dave Campbell's Texas Football. If you go to TexasFootball.com.
Not to mention, softball playoffs start this week and baseball playoffs start next week.
Oh,
so
is that right?
Everyone's always asking us, when are y'all going to do baseball? When are y'all going to do softball? We do. We broadcast hundreds and hundreds of baseball and softball games. Starts this week. Sign up now.
Texan Live. TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Makes a great gift as well. If you are looking for a gift, well, what was the date on this past Saturday?
The who?
This past Saturday was
4/20.
Yeah. So if like that's a special day for you and you missed like a gift, TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Go do it. Coming up here in just a moment, Melissa head coach Matt Nally on the future of the Cardinals. But first, a word from these goods and services.
I feel like bustin' loose, bustin' loose. Come on, get on up. Oh yeah, get on up. Bustin' loose when you wanna sing. Bustin' loose, baby, do your thing. Talking about bustin' loose, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support, virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Wing is the largest residential drone delivery provider in the world, delivering to your home in less than 30 minutes. Order using an app just like other popular delivery services, and Wing's automated drone takes care of the rest. It's fast, safe, and sustainable, and it's now delivering to parts of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. You can learn more at wing.com/TexasFootball. Again, that's wing.com/TexasFootball.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texans love doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
Back here at the Jamboree, here, you can see the party's winding down, but the party's always popping in Melissa.
Correct.
Where the head coach of the Melissa Cardinals, Matt Nally, was out at one of the state qualifying tournaments for
His
state
own.
7-on-7. Oh, his own. Is it the Melissa
Yeah, it was
one?
the Melissa one.
Shout out Melissa. He was out there watching his team compete and watching everyone enjoy their outstanding facilities. One person enjoying those outstanding facilities, our intrepid reporter Matt Stepp, who filed this report.
Matt Stepp, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, here at the Melissa 7-on-7 state qualifying tournament, here with the director of the 7-on-7 tournament and the head coach of the Melissa Cardinals, Coach Matt Nally. Coach, high atop the perch here in the indoor. Appreciate you, all the hospitality as always.
Thank you so much, and I really appreciate you guys being here. Obviously, it's a big day for Melissa, but it's a big day for all these teams competing today, and it's just awesome to watch the kids get out here and get after it. And, you know, because it's the rain, thank goodness we do have an indoor, so just an awesome day, though.
All right, Coach, now it's a busy time for you. You know, not only were you trying to put together a 7-on-7 and trying to play weatherman and figure out the forecast, but you guys are in the middle of spring practice right now, getting ready for the fall, and you guys have put together a nice winning tradition here. So spring ball, with you and your coaches, what's really the focus for the Melissa Cardinals in the spring? What questions are you looking to answer?
The biggest thing for us always is going to be building depth. So we lost some great players last year, and, you know, we try to play as many kids as we can in season, trying to get them, you know, good quality reps during the game. So really seeing those kids that maybe were a 2 or a 3 last year step up to that starting role. But in all reality, I'm going to be straight with you. We really just, it's about discipline, accountability, and building depth. So that's really where our focus is in spring football.
All right, now look, coming into today, you guys had a scrimmage last night, so you're in the afternoon session. So a little bit of a modified schedule. So you guys get a little extra sleep and a little extra rest tonight. When your kids are out here competing in 7-on-7, I know you're not going to have all your guys here. They're out on recruiting trips, that kind of thing. What do you want to see from your kids when they're playing today?
Really just competing and representing Melissa the way that we here want Melissa to be represented. So that's the biggest deal for me, is just competing and acting right, doing right, and playing the game the right way and whatnot. But realistically, it's just going out and competing.
All right, and now we talk about this indoor facility. All the facilities here are just beautiful at Melissa. What's it say about the community for the investment in the students? Because people see all the nice athletic facilities and they go, all Melissa cares about is sports. But really, you guys, a beautiful school building over there, lots of amenities on the educational, academic side, fine arts as well. It's a well-rounded experience, and I think it's a testament. Would you agree that the taxpayers and the community has really stepped up and given you guys some of the best facilities in the country?
Well, in all reality, our community is based on doing things for kids. And, you know, when people say, you know, this tax basis, I'm always going to say what's best for kids. And that's what our community is. That's what our administration is. What's best for kids, and not just sport kids, not just band kids, not just choir. What's best for all kids. And that's what Melissa's about. What's best for all kids. So, yeah, you look around. We have an unbelievable auditorium, an unbelievable school. We're building a cheer gym. You know, we got the stadium, we got all this stuff. And not just that, when you look at these things and you think, oh, this is football or whatever the case may be, this is for everybody. You know, our dance team just won the state championship, and they use the indoor to practice for that. So it's really here. Every kid matters.
And that, you mentioned that, this indoor facility, you can, like I see the nets up there, baseball and softball can get in here, soccer gets in here, I'm sure. I would say football, do you guys use this facility the least out of everyone?
Probably, yeah. I mean, there's golf, baseball, anything that you can think of goes on in this indoor. And anything that you can think of goes on in that Coach Kennedy Stadium. So, yeah, but once again, kids are worth it. Kids deserve it. So that's what is a big deal here at Melissa.
All right, now let's look back a little bit to UIL realignment, and you guys, I think there's a couple of surprises for you. I think your district's not a huge surprise, but the depth and the talent in District 4 or 5A Division 2, it's among the best in the state. When you got the packet from the UIL, were you surprised, or did your eyes get kind of big? I mean, I know you guys aren't afraid of competition, but I would say you would agree your district there's a lot of really, really good teams in this district.
The crazy thing is there's a lot of really good teams and there's a lot of really good coaches. And for me, too, I'm kind of a football buff, football history guy, so I really like I get to play Todd Dodge. How cool is that? You know what I'm saying? And Kendall Miller at Frisco Emerson. How cool is that? And, Seth Parr and Anna, you get to play these really good programs. Tommy Allison at Walnut Grove. I mean, you get to play these really good guys and whatnot and have really good teams, and it's just fun. So for me personally, when people talk about, your district and whatnot, I'm glad that we're in this district because you get to compete, because it's all about November and December football, and that's they're only going to, iron is going to sharpen iron. So being in this district is only going to make us better.
But you guys got to be sharp every week, right? Because I'm looking at that district, and I think there's 2 or 3 really good teams that would be playoff teams in a lot of other districts that aren't going to be in the playoffs next year. So every game is going to be really huge. You guys are going to have to bring it every week, right?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to bring a sack lunch every week. But once again, that's what I want. I want our kids to have to execute every week. I don't want us to we're going to lay an egg, but get a victory. I don't want to do that. We got to be perfect every single week, every single rep. So that's the biggest deal for me going into this district. I'm excited.
And then, were you surprised that you went over to Region 1? I mean, you guys aren't traditionally in Region 1. You're typically going through Region 2. And then I think a lot of people historically would say, oh, Region 1 is going to be a little bit softer. I look at Region 1, and the district next to y'all is, I think, every bit as tough as your district. And then there's some really good teams out west as well. The Wichita Falls schools, Abilene, Wiley, Abilene, Cooper. A lot of good football out there. It's going to be the play. If you can get to the playoff run is going to be challenging as well, won't it?
I think that there's a lot of great football all around the state of Texas. So I don't really look at the Region 1. I know that's the kind of
the perception, right?
Perception, like Region 1 isn't that big of a deal, but man, now you look at it and you're like, man, that's a good football team. That's a good football team. That's a good football team. I think there's just great football all around the state of Texas. So being in Region 1, once again, I'm just honored to be in there and be in our district, and hopefully we can represent Melissa and the state of Texas well.
All right, Coach. Well, appreciate your time. We'll let you get back to your kids don't play till later this afternoon, so we'll let you get back to supervising the 7-on-7 here from the perch. And I appreciate your time and I appreciate what you do for student athletes in the state of Texas.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Coach.
There is Matt Nally, head coach of the Melissa Cardinals. Joined Matt Stepp, rather, not us. The royal us. We were there spiritually at the Melissa State qualifying tournament. Appreciate his time. Excited to see what his Cardinals do. They signed 4 players to FBS Letters of Intent.
Yeah,
last
big
year.
time.
They got big-time playmakers up there in Melissa.
And clearly if they already qualified into a state 7-on-7, they've still got the same type of good players.
Doing okay. I'm not worried about Melissa. The other thing is, you want to talk about an area that is exploding.
Booming. They're going to need to continue to be good.
They're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
That's an area that is absolutely booming. And the football is really good too, thanks to Matt Nally. Let's go over to Gizmo for America's Second segment. Final thoughts.
That's just such a perfect nickname. I like that one. A programming note, we will not have a show Friday either. That might be breaking news to you.
That is breaking news to me. Why not?
I have a Pantsuit Pickle meeting I have to go to.
Ooh, Pantsuit Pickle.
And it's at 10 a.m., so there was the possibility, but there's no way, because it's a little on the opposite
side. Do I know
what
this meeting's about? Okay.
Yeah, I've said it before.
Oh, is it that thing you promised, like I promised you I wouldn't talk about on the air?
So yeah, let it rip.
Yeah. I mean, I just hope that, I think it's a wrong place, wrong time situation for you, and there's no hard evidence.
No idea what the meeting is.
I don't think there's any, forensic evidence linking you to it.
No. Cover my tracks.
I figured. It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Melissa head coach Matt Nally for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please give me your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow for This Week in Recruiting on Texas Football Today.